All right, so the other day we were working on the final mix of this track. So I was commissioned to do a jungle remix of this reggae track by Kyle B. It's called Victory. The track is pretty much done, and I'm gonna be sending it over to my mastering guy. And by the way, my mastering guy is Bob Mack at Subvert Mastering. He's my top guy. He's one of the best mastering engineers in the world. Certainly one of the best in the drum and bass jungle and electronic music community. I always go to him. I just love the sound of his masters. They just sound loud and dynamic without crushing the transients. It's always crisp and clear, and there's never any distortion. I love his mastering. If you know about Mac, the jungle drum and bass drum funk producer, then that's him. He has a mastering facility. It's called Subvert Central Mastering. You can find him at scmastering.com. You can also find it down in the link below. However, he's my go-to guy. Just love it when I send him my mixes, and he just does some magic to my tracks, and they just come alive. So I'm just going to go through this track. So today's video is talking about my checklist when I mix down a track. This track is pretty much mixed down, but we're going to go through a checklist just to make sure we have everything ready when we send the track off to mastering, when we send it off to my mastering guy, just so we know the file is at optimal, right? So here's our track. I'll just play you a short bit of it to refresh your memory.
Jaja bless we, Jaja bless me, make we gain that victory. Oh, a full victory, we gained it yesterday. The Most High bless me, Him bless me, make we gain that
All right, that's pretty much the track, and you might have noticed I was just deleting unused tracks. I was just cleaning up my project, because then it'll be easier to see if anything's awry in your mix or in any of the tracks if you just clean up your track in your project. So you'll see that all my drums are at the top layer. Sometimes I'll even group the drums, right? We can call this drums, just so it's nice and clean. So that's the first part, is to, number one, clean up project, because then it'll allow you to easily identify any issues you have with the track. It's just organization, right? So I group my drums, so clean up project, group similar tracks together. This track is not being used, so I should delete it. I remove any track that I'm not using. These are the bass sounds. I tend to group the bass sounds together as well. So oh, I just made an unnecessary track. All that bass, right? Make this yellow too, just so it's the same. Usually I choose prettier colors. However, I'm just trying to get this done right now. So that's the bass. The dub sounds, these are the sounds the stems that the original artist sent me. So we can leave those there in its own group. The vocals are also from the original track.
Full victory, full victory.
Right, and then all these other sounds are just effects or whatnot, so it's not necessary. I'm not sure what this... Oh, this one's not used, so I'll delete this track as well. These are all effects. Likely I can group the effects together. Right, call this effects. Maybe make this just a completely different color so I know they're all effects. That just keeps it nice and tidy. You know, this yellow is bothering me. It's sticking out like a sore thumb, so I'll make it green maybe. That looks a little more together. Tend to be colors that I typically use here. Someone had a question about the main bass. What do you want to know about the main bass? It was a bass made on Serum. It was a preset I made ages ago, and then I just tweaked it. It just was perfect for this track. I added a bunch of effects to the bass. I added riff, some EQing. So I added this. Here, I'll just turn off all the effects so you can hear the bass on its own. And then I added riff to add some distortion, make it a bit more pumped up. And then I added some EQing just to bring up some of the highs and mids. It just makes it a little brighter to stand out in the mix. And then I had this thing called RX 950. You can find them at Plugin Boutique. Thanks to the guys that hooked me up with this, and actually it's you guys that told me about this tool. Essentially what it does is it emulates the audio and digital converters of the Akai sampler, so it gives us this kind of like analog feel to your sound. So I put this at the very end of the chain to make the bass sound, I guess, more analog. It's almost unnoticeable, so I don't know if it's doing anything or not, but I have it here. It's got the RX 950. You can find it at Plugin Boutique. By the way, if you want to learn about all the tools I use, I actually have a link down below. I think it's called Tools or Gear Used. I have an entire landing page where you can see all the tools I use. They're all affiliate links, so if you want to grab any of the tools I use, it also helps the channel out, so check that out down below. But yeah, so the track is organized now. Here's another thing I like to do. So this is what I learned. This is a thing I learned from Tier Kahoot, is that Digi-check if you have the RME sound card. I use the RME Babyface Pro, but any RME sound card comes with Digi-check. It's essentially a bunch of audio tools to help you make sure the mix is proper. And what I learned from Tier Kahoot is this frequency analyzer is A-weighted, because our ears tend to hear higher frequencies, or our ears are more sensitive to higher frequencies. So in a regular unweighted frequency chart, it might show that your high frequencies are down here at -20, right? But it sounds a lot louder, right? So when you when you use an unweighted frequency analyzer, and say you want to get a mix that's balanced across a flat line, then it'll sound like it won't sound right, because then your highs may be overcompensated because you're hearing them louder, because you hear highs louder than they are, and if you set them to the straight line, it'll be unbalanced. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Would it be unbalanced positively or negatively in the highs? I'm trying to do the math. If you guys can figure that out right now, I'm kind of slow on the logic right now, but essentially it'll be unbalanced if you use an unweighted frequency chart. But this one is weighted so you get more of an apples to apples comparison when you look at the lows and the highs, and then it allows you to balance the mix and get them all relatively to sit along the same line, and then it'll be balanced, right? So let's just listen to this track and just see how the graph looks. Yeah, so overall, I think the mix is all right. It doesn't have to be exact. We're talking about a general area, right? However, I do notice when this 808 sub bass hits, these two bottom frequencies around. So this one's 50 hertz. This one's 60 hertz. It is hitting a bit over -10, whereas generally everything else is around -15. So we may want to look at the sub bass to get it a little more balanced. Another tool I use is Vision 4X. This is the new analyzer by Noisia and Excite Audio. This is also can be found on Plugin Boutique. I'll add it into my gear list down in the link below, so you can help me out if you want to grab this. But yeah, you can. This one's really cool because they have these references here. So you see, like ambient would look something like this. DMB deep would be something like this. So they've took averages of every subgenre in electronic music and kind of looked at, on average, where the frequency is sitting. So this top line is the highest or the maximum it would be. Bottom line is the minimum. If your frequencies are somewhere hitting inside this range, then I think you're good. So our style is more along the lines of jungle. So I'm using the jungle setting. Now let's play our track and see where the frequencies sit. Yeah, so I think our track is good. Again, those 808s are hitting up pretty high. You see, it's going up pretty high here. We're here. I see around this, like around this here, this line and this line. So around like 55 to 75. Let's go back to DigiCheck and see. Okay, it looks like DigiCheck froze here. It's not moving. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's not the main bass that's hitting. It's that 808 that's hitting a bit too hard. So we can quickly just lower this. So I guess that this is in no particular order. Maybe I'll change this list later. I'll make it an official document for you guys later, and maybe fix the order, because I'm just doing things as it comes to mind right now. So number 2 would be check. I guess this would be checking the tonal balance, which is the balance of frequencies across the track. You can use RME DigiCheck or Vision 4X. And okay, so that's number 2. So let's get this 808 to sit right. So that's one thing I noticed even working on this track is it's a bit louder than usual. Is there anything on what's on the mastering channel? There's nothing. There was something here. I can delete it. There should be nothing on your mastering channel. So that's another thing. Number 3, make sure there is nothing on your master channel because you're sending this to the mastering guy. You don't want anything. You just want a dry mix. This thing here is just a Vision 4X. It's not actually doing anything to the audio. Okay. Okay, so let's bring this 808 down. It probably can be down like maybe around 2 dB. So it was at 4.6 before, right? Negative 4.6. Maybe we can bring it down to negative 6.5. Okay, let's see how that looks now. There we go. It's still hitting a bit hard on DigiCheck, so let's bring it down to negative 7.5. So 1 more dB down, right? I usually go by increments like that. That sounds about right, although it doesn't. It's still hitting pretty hard, so we can just. Sometimes you just want to fancy and entertain what will happen if you bring it even further down. Let's go really extreme. Let's bring it down to negative 10, so that's 2.5 dBs even lower from what we had it before. That seems to be better. Let's bring it down 1 more just in case. You sometimes you just gotta test it out, right? Go extreme. Visually, that's better now because it's sitting just under negative 10. But I feel it now it's lost a tiny bit of weight, so I'm going to bring back 0.5. So instead of negative 11, I'm going to go negative 10.5. This thing is, I don't know why it's not behaving today. Like, I don't know, like it gets frozen like this. Maybe I just got to close it and open it back up. DigiCheck. I think that's a lot better now. There's this little wobble edit. We did this the last, I think the last video together. Thanks to everyone to put their input. But you notice when this note hits, something in the 200 area really peaks. Yeah, this here. Oh, you know what? I think I was hitting space and it freezes this. This is what it does. So it's not DigiCheck's fault. There was nothing wrong with the software. I guess you can freeze frame this so you can see where it's at, right? Where it was at, right? So that's actually very useful. Yeah, so all I did was I hit space and it froze this. So if you have this is a cool thing to do, I guess. Yeah, so this thing could probably be brought down maybe by, so it's at negative 11.5 right now. Let's bring it down to negative 12.5, so that's 1 dB lower. Yeah, That's much better now. You notice that's 200 range. It was a lot. It almost hit that -10. Now it's just underneath. I think that probably sits better now. Let's have another look at it. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so yeah, that's checking the tonal balance. Let's listen through to the track. Let's use Vision 4X now. Sometimes it's nice to have two different perspectives. So open up another tool just to check. All right, it's much better now. The lower frequencies are sitting within this range now. Now you might notice that that main foghorn bass, we're getting these two frequencies. That's probably 350. This is around 500 hertz. It is peaking over this line. I'm not too concerned about that. I think occasional peaks over the line is fine. I think the mastering engineer can fix that. If we're really concerned about those frequencies with the main bass, we can fix it. For example, we can pull in, I think Soothe might do the job. We pull in Soothe and kind of use that to duck 500 hertz area. Where else? Let's see. Yeah, it's around the 350, 500 hertz area, so maybe we can fix it. Let's see. Let's probably just put one knob here, right? So... Oh, my mom's calling. Just one sec. Hey, Mom, I'm busy. I'm going to call you back later. 你喺邊度啊？哦，我喺度做 live 等陣先。No， 而家喺度做 live。I need call 你。Okay. Bye. That was just my mom checking with my mom. Yeah, you can tell it's this frequency here. Yeah, it's not so much these ones here. Okay. Let's have a look at our frequency now. Yeah, it's more controlled. It's not hitting the reds anymore. That wobble is still hitting it on this chart, so maybe bring this down a bit. Negative 14.5. That's okay. Again, it's not a science, it's an art and a science. So I mean, you don't have to obey this line as like the Bible. Just like it's more as a guideline, right? So I don't mind if certain things hit over the line. It's just this provides directional guidance. It's not hard rules, right? Yeah, overall, I think the mix is good. I'm just going to have a look at the drums. Another thing I like to do is just have a look at the frequencies of the drums. Typically, I exclude the kick in this process, but I tend to group all the other sounds except the kick, right? You can call it kick like snare and hi-hats or breaks. I'll just call it breaks, right? What I'll do is maybe we can put like Fave filter just as an analyzer. Just look at what's happening with the breaks group. Sometimes I remove the bottom end. I know some producers would argue against doing this, but this is just what I've picked up and it's my overall practice. You tend to have a wider slope just so you're I think 12 dB is fine. I just wouldn't like brick wall it because then it'll sound unnatural. Essentially what you're doing is getting rid of any unneeded low frequencies here, right? This kick, perhaps we can play with the transients in this kick and make it punch a little more so we can bring in a transient shaper on this kick. Yeah, the kick comes out a little more, but I like to be a little more subtle with transient shapers. So if you're finding you like it at 30% attack and 24 pump, bring it down 5-10% because you want it to be transparent. There.
Full victory, we gained that yesterday.
Even that, I think, is too much. I don't want to affect the kick too much, right? So bring it down even more.
Full victory.
Yeah, it just has a subtle extra punch to the kick now. So maybe that's another check thing. Make sure your kick cuts through in the mix. You can use a transient shaper to help it be subtle, right? Sometimes when you use a transient shaper, now the kick is a bit louder. You might want to dial the kick down just a bit, like by 0.5 dB. I might do the same check with the low frequencies on the vocals, so just have a look at the vocals.
Full victory. We gained that yesterday. Oh, I just.
I might just pull another Pro Q over. It's just a nice clean EQ to do this with. Put at the end of the chain.
Full victory. We gained that yesterday. Oh, Jaja bless we, Jaja bless me. Make we gain that victory. Oh, a full victory.
That's fine. We can copy the same EQ into the dub sounds here. Same for the effects. So maybe that's a number 5, but this is also one that can be debated amongst producers. Some would argue against doing this, but I say make sure there are no unnecessary low frequencies in your tracks. Okay? So that's number 5. That's done. I think that's pretty much it. I think another check, just make sure your vocal, it cuts through in the mix. I think it already is. If you have vocals, make sure it cuts through. I don't have any tools to do this other than just lifting up the volume. Sometimes you may need a compressor, but this, I believe these vocals have already been pretty much processed, so I don't need to do much more. I've already added a bunch of processing to the main vocals. I added, what did I add?
Full victory. We gained that yesterday.
Yeah, I think I added a bit of EQing, or maybe all I did was brought up the volume, I think. Okay. Yeah, because the vocals sounded good already. I just had to bring it up in the mix.
Full victory.
I might have added a little more reverb and delay, but other than that, I didn't really do much to the vocal.
Full victory. We gained that yesterday. Oh, Jaja bless we, Jaja bless me. Make we gain that victory. Oh, a full victory.
Someone's saying I should see if it matches the jump up profile. Is there even a jump up profile? No, there isn't. I think jump up will probably be DNB hard, I guess. That could fall under.
Full victory. We gained that yesterday. Oh, Jaja bless we, Jaja bless me. Make we gain that victory. Oh, a full victory. We gained it yesterday. The Most High bless me, Him bless we. Make we gain that victory.
Yeah, I think even for DNB hard, it's relatively in range. Maybe DNB hard has even higher low frequencies here. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. I just want to see if I forget anything. Yeah, I there isn't much. I keep my mix downs pretty easy because I'm pretty much mixing while I make the track. So everything is already pretty much, the levels are pretty good already. Bad VST, that's a good suggestion. I've never done that before. Haas the vocals. I'm not sure. I don't have a tool to do that right now because my vocals, I don't know how I would do that here because, yeah, you let me know. I've never done that before. Yeah, just before we go, by the way, we have a new pack that's coming out. I believe it's coming out in 2 weeks. It's called Hybrid Breaks. It's got a ton of breaks and top loops and one shots. It's by a very talented hybrid drummer, and he He's a live drummer that combines synthetic and acoustic hits to make breaks. And he's got this sick pack for us. It's called Hybrid Breaks. I'll just demo a few for you guys here. Yeah, there's some sick breaks. There's these funk loops that you can pitch up. There's even I really like the top loops on here. Yeah, so this is all in Hybrid Breaks that is coming out soon in 2 or 3 weeks. I'll leave a link down below where you can sign up for a discount link and updates. Also, if you want to support, check out the new Deviant Audio website. It's at deviantaudio.com. You can find the link down below if you want to support. We also have a number of sample packs, preset packs, and Ableton kits to help you along your journey. There's also a bunch of free stuff as well. You want to go check it out. There's a free sampler, free sample pack, serum pack. So check it out at deviantaudio.com. And yeah, finally, if your mix is good, you can render it. So I typically like to, I start my track here. Sometimes I have lead time in case I want to make the track longer, but the track starts here. So I tend to set my locators at the beginning of the track and then give enough room for the track to any reverb effect or anything. You want to have enough for the reverb tail to play out. So I have my loop endpoint over here, and then once you're ready, just render the track. So we're rendering the master. I usually just leave the settings at default, so it's at a wave 24-bit audio because you're sending it to a mastering engineer. The mastering engineer will then bring it back down to 16. So I don't believe you need to set dither options. Dithering, I think, is only necessary when you bring the sample rate down, right? If it's going from 24 to 16, which the mastering engineer will do. When you bring down, I believe you might get, what is it? Certain sounds, I think certain sounds might not come through in the mix. I don't know like the exact science behind it, but essentially what it does is it adds a very subtle layer of noise. So when it dithers down, certain frequencies won't be represented properly. But since I don't think we need to set dithering. If you know more about this, comment. But I'm going to leave this at no. That's what I normally do from my mastering engineer. He's never had an issue. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to export the file. And once the file is exported, send it over to your mastering engineer. And once again, my mastering guy is Bob Mack at scmastering.com. You can find a link down below. Bob Mack is my guy, one of the top mastering engineers in the world. He's worked with, I believe he's done masters for some big artists such as Wu-Tang Clan, but he's also done masters for some of the biggest drum and bass producers such as Alex Perez and a number of jungle people. So he's my go-to guy. I just love how his master sounds. I'm not sponsored by him. He's a good friend of mine. And I love to promote friends, and so check him out, scmastering.com. So yeah, I'll render this and send it off to him. But just for the sake of today's stream, if you can't afford a master, you can also use a number of online services. I'm also sponsored by LANDR. I have an affiliate link with LANDR. You'll get 30% off. Also down in the links below. So they have this AI mastering tool. So what it does, it has a number of proprietary mastering processes which they use to analyze your track and get it to sound the most optimal. I've released a couple tracks using LANDR, so it is all right. So with LANDR, you can download the LANDR app. And in the LANDR app, you can export it directly into, where is it? into the LANDR folder if I can find it right now. It was here. Here, I'll just go on my C drive, users. Here, if you export it directly into the LANDR folder, it'll master it directly once it's uploaded. So I'm gonna call this Victory Stranger Remix Final. Right, save it here. So it's exporting into the LANDR folder right now. Glad you guys like the track, Bouncer, Alice KR, Simple Sam. Glad you think the breaks sound good. Hunter, I'll look in the shaper box with the Haas thing another day. Which wavetables did I use for the lead? I don't remember right off the top of my head. I'll check in a bit. Yeah, I don't put anything on the master. So if there's a limiter on the mastering, I say don't do that. Okay, so I just uploaded the track to the LANDR folder. So the LANDR app should pick it up soon. Yeah, you can see when you open up the LANDR app, it sees it in here. And you can see it's currently mastering on the bottom right here. It's already, by default, it already knows what to do once you upload the file. So this is what's great about it. You guys want to try out LANDR, with my link below, you'll receive 30% off. Also, I think you can sign up for free and you'll get one free master, which is cool. There's no obligation. However, if you want to try it, it just helps the channel out because I get a small commission from them. Let's just wait for this master and let's check it out. So it's gotten a lot warmer in Toronto suddenly, and it's like that a lot over here. It gets cold and suddenly the weather changes. So I'm looking for it to get out once I get off the stream. But looks like the mastering just finished, so we can check it out. Probably have to just refresh. So yeah, we have the master here. We can check it out, open it. We can compare it. I say it sounds really good already, and there's certain mastering settings that it remembers that you like. So I use the balanced high setting, but if you don't like the master, you can click on revise here. You can tell them, how was the loudness? Too quiet, good, or too loud? I thought it was good. How was the EQ intensity? I thought it was good. Yeah, I think everything was good. But however, if you thought maybe the lows were boomy or maybe the high mids are muddy, you can click and then you can revise the master and then it'll redo it with its AI algorithm and attempt to provide a master that is tuned to your liking. So I like that about LANDR. But I think this master is pretty good. Even if it's just for club play to send out the DJs, it's good enough. But for this particular track, I am going to send it to Bob Mack to get it mastered. But just so you can hear and you can hear how it sounds all right. Let's play from here, from the beginning, just from here.
Full victory, we gained that yesterday. Oh, Jaja bless we, Jaja bless me, make we gain that victory. Oh, a full victory, we gained it yesterday. The Most High bless me, Him bless me, make we gain that victory.
Yeah, so I think the master is good. Shouts out to DJ Fantasy, the legend in the live chat. Nice to see you here. Check out DJ Fantasy. He's been doing some awesome podcasts with key people in the drum and bass scene. It's been very entertaining to watch. So check him out. Check his Instagram. You can find him there. But yeah, I think this master sounds good. I would just want to put in to the checklist, and I'll fix up this checklist and make it an official document for you guys later. But number 7, render the file 24-bit audio wave, then to mastering engineer. I think that's pretty much it. I think I wanted to say something else, but I forgot. Someone asked why did I choose to immigrate to Toronto? I didn't immigrate. I was born in Toronto, Canada. There's things I like, I don't like about Toronto. We'll get into this in another stream. But I'm actually looking to go the digital nomad route and be in another city or country during the colder seasons. There's some things I like about Toronto, some things I don't. It's good in the summer and it's nice. It has everything you need. But sometimes it gets too small here. Yeah, DJ Fantasy, what am I using? I'm using LANDR to do the mastering. So it's an AI mastering tool. It has a set of proprietary tools that analyzes your track and then gets it to sound optimal based on the specific frequencies of your track. So not every track is mastered the same way. It looks at your track and looks at what it needs and what tools it needs and what it needs to adjust per track. So every master is unique. So it's AI tools analyze it, proposes a master, and then it delivers the master. So that's what I like about it. You use the LANDR app, upload it directly to the LANDR folder. It automatically uploads and masters it for you. There's even a mobile app, so it syncs to your mobile app. So then once your track is mastered, you can preview it in your car stereo by Bluetooth. So it's really super handy and helpful. If you guys, again, if you want to check out LANDR, you can find my link down in the description. You'll receive 30% off. Also, if you want to get professionally mastered, check out Bob Mack at scmastering.com. Also links below. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We'll talk more about Toronto in another stream. But yeah, I just wanted to go through this checklist with you guys. What I personally do before I send my track off to mastering. This is my mix down checklist. Number 1, clean up the project. Group similar tracks together. Number 2, check the tonal balance. And there's a number of tools you can use such as RME DigiCheck or Vision 4X. There's a bunch of other tools out there which you can use as well. If you want to find out what tools I love to use for producing, check the link below where I think there's a link for gear use or my favorite gear or VST tools. Check that out. Number 3, make sure there's nothing on the mastering channel. You want to dry master. Your mastering engineer will do all the magic. Number 4, I just make sure my kick cuts through in the mix. Also, maybe your snare and other drum sounds, such as snare. Use transient shaper, be subtle. Number 5, make sure there's no unnecessary low frequencies in your tracks, such as the brakes or the pads. You want to leave all that bottom end area for the bass and kick. You want to make room for bass and kick in that range. Number 6, just make sure your vocals cut through. Number 7, rendered file 24-bit audio wave. Send it to your mastering engineer. I think that's pretty much it. That's my checklist. And this was the mix down of Kyle B's track Victory, the Stranger remix. And yeah, if you want to support, once again, check the link below for deviantaudio.com. Punch out products you can pick up to support. Hybrid Breaks is coming out in a few weeks. But in the meantime, there's a number of products you can check out here. Yeah, and until the next video, just want to thank you guys for dropping by and participating in the live chat. And hope you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay creative. And until the next stream, peace out.